Hey, hello everyone. Let's look at another important concept in JavaScript named prototype. There is a reason why we are covering this topic under object oriented programming. Let's look at that later. Now let's see what is prototype. Prototype is a early version or first version of something. For example, let's say if you are creating a product, first you will create a prototype, right? Which is the early version or first version of that, from which we can create new or future versions, right? This prototype is a unique feature in JavaScript alone, which means it is not available in other programming languages like Java. So with the help of prototype, what we can do is we can add new properties or methods to the class or function. So usually when a class is created, right, it will have its own properties and methods. With the help of prototype, we can add additional properties and methods to the class or function. Okay. So in JavaScript, what will happen is when a new class or function is created, right, the prototype property is added inside of that by default. So when we create an object and call some method, right, what will happen is first it will look at the respective class or function, whether the property or method is available or not. Okay. If it is not available, then it will look at the prototype only. Now you could understood that prototype is basically an object where we can add properties and methods. Okay. Now the objects which are created from the class or function, right? It also has some object properties and methods from the prototype. Now this object can also inherit the properties and methods from prototype. This is something called prototype based inheritance. This is the reason we are covering this topic under inheritance. This prototype is basically is using inheritance, and with the help of that, whenever a class or function is created, we are inheriting the prototype also, so that we can get the, I mean, JavaScript gets the methods and properties from prototype also. Okay. Now, now let's see how to use prototype in action. I mean, how to add methods, how to add properties by using prototypes for a class or function. Okay, let's see that in action. First, I'm going to create a class. Okay. So, what could be my class? Create a class called a person. So, I'm going to create a constructor. This constructor will have two arguments, name and ID. And this is going to be a class in class variable. So, this dot name is equal to name, and this dot id is equal to id. Okay, I created a constructor and I'm going to create a method, a sample method named get name, and this get name will have like console.log. Yeah, the person name is, what's the name, this dot name. Whatever is passed here, right, that will come here. I mean, whatever is passed to the class when the object is created, that will come here, right? Now what we just did is we just created a class. Inside of that constructor is there and one method is there. Okay, it has two properties like name and id. Okay, now as I told already, whenever a function or class is created, the prototype is added by default. Okay, let's see that. The person is the class, right? So person dot prototype, we can see that. So whenever this person is created, right, the prototype will be added by default. Now I'm gonna add one more property. Name, ID is there, right? Let me add status. What is the status? Let's say married. Okay. Now I added one more property to this class. Now let me add one more method also. Okay, we already have get name method, right? Let me add a get ID method. Okay, so person dot prototype dot get ID. Okay, it's a function, right? So it returns console dot log. I'm not returning anything. I'm just printing person ID is. As we created this prototype also is inside of this class only. Okay, so I can use this this dot. Okay, understand why now how we can use prototype to add properties and methods, property and method. Okay, now I'm going to create object for this person class. Now let's see how it works. Yeah, let my person is equal to new person. It takes two arguments, right? Let's say I want and ID is 100. Okay, now my person dot get me. Right? This get me method is inside the class only, so I can call this directly. So what I'm gonna do is he added one more property, right? Married. Now let's see how we can call that. So yeah, console.log. So this person status is and the person is now this person, my person, this my object, right? This person is status. Okay, even though we did not create this status inside the class, as we created this property using prototype, with this object itself we can use that property. Okay, now let me use that method also. A person dot method name get it, and use that also. What will happen, this object is created with two arguments. Okay, so my person dot get name, it will look inside the class, so this will be printed person name is I1. Okay, next, what is it, sorry, next console.log and the person is my person dot status. My person is the object, right? So my person dot start status. Now it will look for this property inside the class. This class doesn't have this property, it only has name and ID, right? As this property is not available inside a class, now it will look at the prototype. Okay, so now the prototype has this status, so it will print and the person is married. Okay, next my person dot get ID. In this case also, JavaScript will look at this getID method inside the class. It will look here inside the class. The class doesn't have this method, so it will look at the prototype now. Now this prototype has this getID method, so this will be printed. Person ID is, what is ID we gave, 100, so that will be printed. Okay, now let's look at the output. Yeah, person name is I1 and the person is married, and these two came from prototype. Okay, so this is how we can use prototype along with the function, sorry, class. Okay, now we can use the same for function also. Now let me change this code to use this for a function. Okay, so let me change it for a function. Now be a function person, and function doesn't have a constructor, right? Now let me change it to name ID. It takes two arguments, doesn't need a constructor. Now let me delete the constructor. And this tag name also I don't need. I will put this, I will add this via prototype. Okay, tag name, and the person name is start person. Okay, I hope you understood, right? I created an object for this function, I1 and 100 with these two arguments. Now when I call this method my person dot get name, it will look at the prototype. It is there. Then the status also is there. Where is the status? Yeah, status also is there along with the prototype, and get ID also is there in the prototype. Right? It will print the same output. Person name is undefined. What happened? Person name, this dot name, it should be right. Okay, person name is even the person is married and person ID is 100. Right, this is how we can use prototype. With the help of prototype, we are able to add a property and method for a class or a function. Okay, this is a unique feature. Let's recap. Like, this is a unique feature available only in JavaScript. So let's say when we created a class or function, In a later stage, if you want to add more properties or methods, we can add with the help of prototype. Okay, this will like it will save memory also prototype. That's a main advantage of prototype also. I think we are good. Thanks for watching.